Thank you, Albert. My position is that the Australian response to the COVID virus has been a policy blunder of Himalayan proportions. Nothing comes even close to this in Australia's entire history. On 9 September 2020, I resigned from my role as an economist in the Victorian Department of Treasury and Finance to protest the disproportionate public health measures that had led to the police state. As I explained in my book, The Great Hysteria and the Broken State, which I wrote immediately after resigning, Victoria's official pandemic plan was all about flattening the curve. Instead, we illegally attempted to eradicate the virus in complete breach of Section 5 of the Biosecurity Act 2015, which states that the appropriate level of protection for Australia against biosecurity risks is a high level of sanitary and phytosanitary protection aimed at reducing the biosecurity risks, reducing to a very low level, but not to zero. And let me repeat that, but not to zero. There's a prohibition on eradication, which is actually happening as we speak. And the reason for this prohibition is very obvious from the economic perspective of trade-offs, that the cost of eradication of any pathogen would be literally infinite. And we've actually seen that kind of extraordinary cost in Australia. Today, Daniel Andrews and Scott Morrison gleefully tell us that they have eradicated the virus from Victoria and Australia. They actually had a celebration, Daniel Andrews, I think a month ago. But have they eradicated the virus from planet Earth? I think this point was just raised by Matthew Guy. I also explained in my book that lockdowns for flu-like viruses are comprehensively rejected by the science. And this book really has a lot of information, and I've got more information in my complaint to the International Criminal Court, which I lodged about a month ago. None of these lockdown ideas are part of any official pandemic plan, whether in Australia, in the UK, in the USA, or in any part of the world. I've explained that quite clearly. And by the way, even mass testing and quarantines, by the way, are also prohibited for flu-like viruses by the World Health Organization's October 2019 guidelines for flu-like pandemics. And border closures are recommended only at the very initial stages to slow down the spread, but not permanently for 2 years or more, the kind of situation we're seeing in Australia. But after writing the book, I did much further work and research, and I continue to do that. During this research, I discovered that the only time lockdowns were implemented in the entire 500 years history, in the last 500 years after the plague, only in once, and that was in Africa for Ebola in the late 1990s and in 2014. Only once, the lockdowns ever for the last 500 years in the world. The Ebola virus kills up to 90% of those infected. However, an evaluation of these lockdowns in Ebola, of Ebola in 2014, found that even for such a virus, only the small-scale cordons, which are similar to quarantine, were effective, and not the large-scale lockdowns. And they actually cause much more misery and damage. So when large-scale lockdowns are unscientific, they're completely rejected by the science. They're not part of any pandemic plans. They're unethical in every possible way, even for a lethal virus like Ebola, and scientists know all of that. Then the concept of lockdowns being applied for the flu-like virus does not arise. More importantly, the alleged pandemic, by the way, is not even a pandemic. And this is a very dramatic statement, and I've just, let me elaborate for a minute. By mid-April 2020, anyone with basic arithmetic skills could see that this virus was not a Spanish flu. All epidemiological models had grossly overpredicted deaths, particularly in Sweden, which refused to take the illegal lockdown approach and chose instead to follow the approved science and the laws. Even in May 2020, modelers were telling Sweden that it will experience 96,000 additional deaths by 1 July 2020 if it did not implement lockdowns. It refused. It has had 7,100 deaths to date from or with COVID. And the term from or with COVID is very significant. I'll come to that. The Grim Reaper's final report of death is absolutely certain, while the attribution of death to a particular cause by man remains subject to great uncertainty. There is an extraordinary range of flaws on COVID testing in the classification of deaths. So the only way to overcome this man-made confusion is to consider the total deaths in 2020. If there was a real pandemic in 2020, it must necessarily show up in the mortality statistics. And in doing so, we must only look at Sweden, since all other nations imposed lockdowns, which, by the way, also kill many other people in the process. And I've explained that in detail in the book, as well as my criminal court complaint. I have updated today on Twitter my analysis of total deaths in Sweden in 2020. based on official Swedish data. And it says, and this is based on statistics of Sweden as of 3 December 2020. And after controlling for underreporting of deaths in recent days, the official data tell us that Sweden will likely have a total of around 95,000 deaths in 2020, and 95,000 compared to 92,185 in 2018, which is barely 2,800 or 3,000 more. But by the way, these estimated 3,000 additional deaths in 2020 in Sweden are not all due to COVID. On 2 October 2020, Sweden's public health agency noted that the 2019-20 influenza season was mild. So last year, very few people died in that age group, the elderly. This means that many of the elderly who would have otherwise died in 2019 survived that year and have now died instead in 2020. To be precise, 3,419 fewer people died in 2019 in Sweden than in 2018. So you look at the numbers, there was a sudden drop in the deaths last year because of the mild flu. Is it a surprise today that many of these 3,419 have now died in 2020? One therefore struggles from the Swedish data to identify any pandemic at all. In brief, the scale of Australia's policy blunder is monumental. We need to open our international borders immediately, stop all quarantines and get back to normal with at best some voluntary hand washing and something else, like the standard stuff that we do in a bad flu season. So that's my opening. These are my opening remarks. Thank you.